I can't quite believe it, but the end of August is here, so that means it's time for another garden update. So today I'm out here in my Virginia Zone 7 garden in the morning. Usually I film these garden updates in the afternoon/evening, and then we're fighting the sun going down, but I decided to do it early morning today. I try to do them either early or late because I want to beat the heat and not be out here like sweating like crazy, but you can hear a lot of the bugs are still out. They haven't gone on to do their stuff for the day, so if you can hear them in the background, which I'm sure you can because they're really loud, that's life, that's being outside, so that's what's happening. But for this garden update, I have some exciting stuff, I feel like, but also some kind of annoying / sad things for the garden. Just some plants that aren't doing well, and it's kind of disappointing, but it's also kind of like, you know what, I just kind of roll with the punches and go with it with the garden. My approach is to not get that stressed out about it or worry about things and just understand that things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. There's a little bit that I can do to try to help things along, but also, you know, it's not a big deal and not everything's going to go perfectly. So I'm going to take you around and show you what's going on and give you some of the updates on the things that are doing well and the things that really aren't doing so great right now. So let's start out with something happy first. These are the Mexican sour gherkins, and they are really doing well, and we've actually got a lot of fruit set on these now. So I put these in a little bit later, so they got a little bit of a late start, but these, if it will focus, let's see if we can get the camera to cooperate. These are what's called a cucamelon. They're kind of a cross between a melon and a cucumber, and the Mexican sour gherkin has a cucumber-like flavor, but it has a little bit of like an acidic tang to it, almost like it's been pickled a little bit. And they're these little teeny tiny cute little fruits that are all over the plant, and they just look like little baby watermelons. And a lot of you know I'm not a huge cucumber fan, though I do eat them in a lot of my meals, but I just don't really like them on their own. But these, because they have that little acidic tang, I find that they're really good, and they're kind of like just like crunchy, a little cucumber, a little sour. I think they're really fun, and I feel like it's really cool because they're something that you're not going to find anywhere else. I've never seen them, sorry, I'm talking with food in my mouth. I've never seen them at a farmer's market. I've definitely never seen them at the grocery store. The only place I've seen them are in my garden or in the gardens of other people who grow them. So it's something that's really easy to grow, and it's something that's really different and that most people have never even seen. It has a cool, interesting flavor that you're not really going to find anywhere else. So if you're looking for a fun, different variety to grow in your garden, I think Mexican sour gherkin is a good one to try. Let's talk about some sad stuff now. The tomato situation. If you look out at the tomato landscape, you will see that a lot of these plants are looking pretty sad, especially the large tomatoes. They're just kind of, oh, I'm kicking things. They're just kind of barely hanging on. They're scraggly, they're not really producing. It's pretty pitiful. And you know I love tomatoes, and they're my favorite part about this garden. That's why I planted like 50 of them. Not like 50, literally 50 of them. But I think what's happened is they have gotten blight. Now, I'll show you a little bit of what it looks like, and you guys can tell me what you think if you've had blight on your plants before, but that's what it looks like to me from everything that I've looked at and read and seen. I've never had this problem before. It's something that people always talk about with their tomato plants. Oh, my plants got blight, I had to pull them out, it was a disaster, blah, blah, blah. I've never had that issue, and I've always just kind of like counted myself blessed that it's not something that I have to deal with. But when we were on vacation, actually, we got a ton of rain here at home. Like for 2 weeks straight, I think, it was raining. Like every day, torrential rains. I mean, there was flooding in areas around us and stuff. It was a lot of rain, and from what I know, that can really make your plant susceptible. And so I think that's what happened, just because we had that really abnormal, kind of freakish stretch of rain, 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 rain. I think that's what made this happen. So if we look at the leaves, you can see they all kind of have these spots around them. All the plants, basically, I think pretty much all the tomato plants in the garden look like this. Some of them are doing better than others. Some of them are getting new growth, and then some, like these, are just kind of dying and withering away. So what I need to do is pull some of these plants out. Some of them aren't doing anything at all. They're just done for, so I need to get them out of here. But I am a little tempted to keep some in because they're still producing. Like over here, you can see the Sungolds and the Mexico Midgets. Down at the bottom parts of the plants, they look awful. But up at the top, they're still growing, they're still producing. The leaves are starting to get the spots, but you know, they're still doing things. So I don't really want to pull these out if they're still going to be giving me fruit. So I'm kind of conflicted because, you know, I don't want sick plants out here that maybe can make things worse for years in the future, because I've heard from people that, you know, if your plants get blight, you need to rip that out of there right away, get it out of your garden, burn it. It's, you know, It's like this plague that will ruin everything. So that scares me a little bit. But at the same time, like, I don't have the heart to pull out plants that are producing fruit, especially because tomatoes are my favorite thing ever, and it would crush me to have to rip all these plants out. So if you know more about this, let me know, because I mean, with all this garden stuff, I'm not an expert. I'm just kind of figuring out as I go along, learning new stuff as it comes up. So if you have more experience or more knowledge or whatever, I would definitely like to hear what you have to say in the comments. I need to look into it some more too. Maybe I've already waited too long and it's kind of like, well, if they're in here now and they're doing this, and just let them go because you should have pulled them out a long time ago. I'm not sure. So if you have more expertise in this area, definitely give me your thoughts in the comments. Back to happy news though, the peppers are doing phenomenal. If we look down here, these are the Sugar Rush peach peppers. I picked a couple of these. I haven't eaten them yet though, so I need to still try them so I can let you know what they taste like. But this is a new one this year, and I mean, we are loaded down, and there's another plant in the garden too, so we have a lot of these going on. This over here is the, what is this called? Lemon drop pepper. So this is a new one. Again, this is the first ripe ones we've had here, so this is the first one I'm picking. Look, isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous, such a pretty bright yellow color. So because this is the first time I'm picking these, haven't tried these either yet, so I'll have to give you an update as far as flavor goes. But you know, now a lot of these super hot peppers are finally starting to ripen. We also have our first Ahi Chinchi Amarillo peppers. This is also a new variety for me. This is the first one we're picking. You're seeing it right now. Oh no, a green one just fell off. So I don't know what this tastes like either, but I'm excited to try it and, you know, see, because, I mean, spicy peppers are spicy peppers, but they all have a little bit of a different flavor. And that's another thing that's really cool about growing your own stuff. In the grocery store, you kind of have a few options as far as spicy peppers go, but in the garden, I have so many different types, and you can really see the minute differences in the flavors, the heat levels, different ways that the flavor changes as you're eating it. For example, the Buena Mulata peppers, those are those skinny purple ones that you've seen me grow before. I don't know if there are any out here right now, but well, let me see if I can find one. Here we go, Buena Mulata pepper right here. Pretty purple pepper. These, the way their heat is, it's kind of intense at first, but then it dissipates very quickly. So it's super spicy, but then it just kind of goes away, which is different than other peppers, and I think that's really cool. The Brazilian Starfish plants are also loaded down, but still nothing ripe. So you can see they're these starfish shaped peppers. They're supposed to be red. First time growing this too, because you know, we got a lot of new things in the garden this year, but I have read that for a lot of people this was their last one to actually ripen. But I mean, if you look, you can see all the different little buds, and I have another one of these in the garden as well, so we should have a lot of these peppers to eat too. And then we're still getting things happening with our Jimmy Nardello plants. I don't know if there's any that I can pick today. This one, some of these are getting close, but this is a sweet pepper that I really like. It has a kind of like sweet roasted apple flavor, and they, you know, are these long peppers that turn red, so these are still doing their thing. And the Thompson Squash peppers are also doing well. We've got a few on here that I need to pick. These are another hot pepper. Let me see if I can get this to break off. There we go. These are another hot pepper, but they've got this squash shape, which I think is really pretty. And they're actually pretty big, so these are really fun. And these have not been producing like crazy. We've kind of had a gap here, but now these plants have a few ripe ones on them all at the same time. We'll go back to another sad thing. I don't want to give you all the bad news at once. This is the cucumber situation. Both of these beds are done. I think the plants were done, but also I think the squash bugs got to them, because the squash bugs hate me. So there's a few overripe fruits that are kind of hanging on that I need to cut off and see if I can do anything with, but no more cucumbers for me. Which is fine, I can get cucumbers at the farmer's market, it's no big deal. But you know, if I could get them out of the garden, that would be nice. The squash bugs, it's one of those things that has become more and more of an issue every year. The first year we had the garden, the cucumbers were like exploding. I made so many jars of pickles. It was nuts. There were so many cucumbers. I have never had that experience since. I think part of it is maybe just the first year that ground was like just really fresh and ready to go. Maybe just luck, maybe just weather, whatever. But also the squash bugs never bothered them until I started growing squash. And then I think that kind of brought them into the garden, and then they decided the cucumbers were here and they would eat on them too. So we get a good amount of cucumbers, but the plants just don't keep going and going and going. Eventually they get hit by the bugs, and then they kind of die, and then it's all over sooner than I would like it to be. Back to another happy thing that's actually tomato related. Even though this plant is looking awful, though it's still growing, still happening. These are the Dark Galaxy tomatoes. Look at these things. first year growing them. I showed these in my garden harvest video that I posted recently, so if you didn't see that, you can see the first one that I ever picked, which is really exciting. But I need to pick all these. Look at these, they're so beautiful. Just all of these pretty like galaxy speckle patterns, and they're all kind of different shapes. Some of them are the smaller round shape, and some are these kind of like, I don't know, double lobed shape, but they're all running through there. So some medium-sized tomatoes and some medium large tomatoes, but I just think these are absolutely stunning, and they taste pretty good too. The couple that we've had so far have a nice flavor to them, so you know, it's nice when something looks beautiful but it also tastes good. That's really what you want, and I really like these, so I think these are a winner for years in the future, at least from our experience so far. A happy accident over here is the tomatillo forest that is growing. These are all volunteer plants. One of you recommended that I cage them before they got wild like this, but I didn't do it because I'm lazy. So they're just running rampant, and it's not that big of a deal because they're kind of over here by the cucumbers, which are dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. But when it comes time to pick them, I think it's going to be a little bit of a pain, but we'll see how they do. I mean, they still have some time to produce. We're starting to get some fruits coming on. You can see some little ones there. There are some big, oh no, that's a tomato. I was going to say, maybe like right there, you see that little one that's on the ground. So I don't know where we'll get, but considering I didn't plant these at all and they're just doing their own thing, you know, if I get something great, if I don't, it's no big deal. Especially since I decided not to grow any tomatillos this year. This is like a nice little happy surprise that I might end up getting some anyway. And the zinnias are still doing beautifully. I'm really happy with how they've done this year. I overseeded them this year because last year I just felt like I didn't get enough flowers, and it was definitely a good decision. Look at how beautiful these are, and they just keep getting taller and taller and growing, and we always have some, you know, in our house sitting in the kitchen, and I just love having these bright colors. I mean, just look, they just keep going, they keep putting out side shoots, they keep growing up, and this rainbow of different shades, it's just so happy to me, so joyful, so I love having these around. So that's what's happening in my garden this month, and let me know in the comments, how is your garden doing? What are you growing? What's doing well? What's not doing so well? Because I love to hear all of that. And if you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and videos like this one, then make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you want to watch some more videos, I have a couple linked over here that you might like. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.